Hello and welcome to another Mr. Walker's Chemistry. This will be the very first lesson in chemistry. Previously we've talked about how to use these videos and a little bit about laboratory equipment. But this one is really about chemistry, and as you can see by the title, we want to find out, what do we really study in chemistry? What is chemistry about? So just simply, chemistry is the study of matter and the interactions between matter. Matter is made up of atoms, so we'll be studying atoms. So you might ask, then, what is an atom? Well, I'm glad you asked. Let's get into it. Let's start learning something. Alright, well, atoms are the most basic, unique building block of all matter. Alright, this is important. Basic and unique. They make up all matter. So the Earth here, in this picture, is made up of atoms. We are made up of atoms. Okay. Finally, we get even smaller. Okay, the tissues that make up your skin, your muscle, your bones are made of atoms. Tissues are made of cells, which are also made of atoms. DNA is inside of a cell. And finally, we can start to see, we've gotten very small. I'll back up a little bit just so we can see. Okay, we started all the way out at the Earth. We could even start with the entire universe if we wanted to. I just couldn't find a good picture of the universe since no one has one yet. All right. So we have the Earth is made up of atoms, which are extremely tiny. You can see when we go back through here. Okay, people, then tissues. Tissues you can see. Okay, your skin is a tissue. Well, your skin is an organ made of tissues, but the outer layer is a tissue, and then we get to cells. Well, cells you can't see without the aid of a microscope. You can't see DNA without the aid of some very special microscopes called electron microscopes. So now we're getting even smaller than DNA. We're getting to these things right here. Each of these little balls that you see is an atom. So you can see DNA is made of lots of different atoms with names like hydrogen, oxygen, nitrogen, carbon, and phosphorus. Alright, so we're going to go even smaller. We're going to go all the way down to the atom. This particular atom is carbon. Alright, carbon has, just like all atoms, some pieces to it. Alright, so we're going to go to the atom, which is very small, but then we're going to talk about what's inside of this atom. We're going to talk about what's inside of this atom for quite a while, actually, because it's very important that we all understand exactly what the red balls, the blue balls, and the yellow balls are. Okay, so let's pop out. Let's look at those. All right. So from that other bit of the presentation, I just want you to know that basically, as far as humans know, everything is made up of atoms, including the stuff that you cannot see. Air, for example, made of atoms. The sun, all sorts of stuff. Everything's made up of atoms. So then what are atoms made of? While scientists have gotten really finite measurements of what atoms are really made of, we're just going to stick to three basic items. We're going to stick to things called protons, neutrons, and electrons. So in this diagram that we see here, we've got blue, which are the protons, we've got red, which are the neutrons, and then we've got yellow going around these orbits. And the yellow ones are really tiny. Those are called electrons. All of these together, all right, all three, protons, neutrons, and electrons, are called subatomic particles. All right, subatomic particles exist in every single atom, but the number of these will differ. So carbon is number 6 on the periodic table. That means that it has 6 protons. So if you count these, there should be 6 blue balls. There's probably one on the other side that we can't see. So you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 here, and another one over there that you can't see. Alright. The neutrons will vary. Some atoms will have lots of neutrons, some will have not very many, and electrons will vary. So this is why, remember back I said, let's see if we can go up here. Alright, I said an atom was the most basic, unique all caps, building block. And that's just because when we go back down here, every single atom that we know of contains protons, neutrons, and electrons. So they are not unique. But the arrangement of protons, neutrons, and electrons makes each atom unique. It's kind of like saying, as an analogy or an example, that as a person, you are unique. Each person on this planet is unique. But we are all still made up of the same organs. Everybody has a brain, everybody has lungs, everybody has a heart, etc. Otherwise they wouldn't be alive. And that's kind of how these things are. Each atom, carbon is unique from oxygen, is unique from helium. But they all contain the same, to use the analogy, organs. And we just call them protons, neutrons, and electrons. And without protons, neutrons, or electrons, you don't really have an atom. Alright? So we've got all that stuff going on. We're going to delve into each of these in the next videos with a lot more detail. What are protons? What do they tell us about an atom? How can they be useful? And the same thing for neutrons and electrons. Alright, so I believe that is all that I had for this. It is. So we'll go all the way back. Just want to make sure that you got the important information. Mostly very, very small atoms. They are unique. They are the basic building block of all matter. Matter is what we study in chemistry. And that atoms are made up of protons, neutrons, electrons, all of which fall under the category of subatomic particles, meaning below the atom. So they are smaller than atoms. Alright, I hope that you learned something in this video, and I'll see you next time.